Thank you for watching this Farm Solutions video. If you have tagged sheep and you use a sheep wand or reader, you'll have an output like this, which you can put in your computer or print out, keep in a folder. However, it's quite cumbersome and it's difficult to know how to use the information in a productive manner. Over the next few minutes, we'll demonstrate our software which links into the outputs of these readers, and hopefully it will revolutionise the way that you use your information. So here we are in the Farm Solutions Livestock Programme, Cattle and Sheep, and our Vet Med. But if we go into our Sheep Manager, you'll see on the left the buttons for our normal sheep, bundles of sheep if you like, bucket loads of sheep. And on the right hand side is everything to do with our tagged sheep. As you can see, there's nothing here at the minute, and this is so that when we load up a few of these outputs, you'll see the differences. Let's go into our Sheep Manager again and go to our reader uploads. There's lots of choices. In this case, it's True Test. If it's yours that wasn't there, we would add to it. Go and look at all files that we've downloaded, and in this case, we're going to take up some hogs, which was an initial count to put onto the system. So there we go, first ever count. There's 16 in total. Let's put in 16. As you can see, the tags below, we'll put in the date as well, and the red crosses are indicate that there shouldn't be anything there because they've never been in the system. Now I'll put there at back of barn, and of course you can add whatever breed you want. In this case, if it was there, you could put your Leicesters or whatever. Anyway, our black face, click on first ever count, and that's them added in. Let's now go and have a look at the movement that that's created. So there's a movement log. As you can see, everything's there. It creates a total log, and then when we look at the individual animals, we've now got 60 new hogs taken onto the farm. Go to use, obviously there's nothing there yet, and so on. But let's now go back to our farm control page. So let's imagine a wee bit of time has passed now, and we'll load up the rest. There's no point in you watching me load up more because it's the same procedure. You just click a couple of buttons and your reader brings up everything. So we'll do one more in a minute or two, but let's just look to see what I've done. As you can see, I've uploaded a few different animals, from the last one being our tups. And if we go to our Sheep Manager now and go to our reader, and we'll just do the final one before we start looking at the information generally. So here we go, the big one, 253 ewes. So that was just straight from the reader, or at least the output from the reader. Again, 30th of July, it's just the initial count, first ever count. That was just putting them onto the system. These ones are at Brachla, and again the black face. And as you can see, they've never been on before, and that's them successfully processed. So we go to the movement log, and there's that last one. So you saw me doing the 16 ewe hogs, and there's the 253 and the ones I did in between. Okay, so let's have a look now. At a click of a button, I can now get a list of anything that I want. I can look at dates of when they were last done. Obviously it's all the 30th of July. I can see everything that I need. And if I go to farm control now, I can again go to the reader import menu. And in this time, what I'm going to do, so we'll put that into our archive, I can update a couple of deaths. As you can see, they're tups. It's all pre-filled for me because it knows they're tups because they're already on the system. All I've got to do is kill them off, which unfortunately is 3rd of September. Both died of pneumonia. And in this case, we're going to notify Scott EID. Don't have to unless at the minute, but you can. As it's sending off to Scotty ID, establishing a connection, then setting up a package of 2 deaths with ear tag numbers. Tells you it's finishing off. And that's it back. And as you can see, there's a transmission sent to Scotty ID. And if I go into my message center, sheep deaths, it's telling me it's successful. Process and archive. And that way the whole system is now all up to date. Go to my sheep manager and go and have a look, and you see our 7 tups is now down to 5. However, I'm going to do something with this. We're going to treat them with some drugs because they've all got a cough in case it turns into pneumonia. That was also on the same day as the other 2 we found dead. Cough. Treat them with an antibiotic. Put in the amount we treated. 20 mils. Out of the 100 mils that's available. And so that's 20 mils each times 5, it equals 100 as well, so we're using the whole bottle. And that's it. Now let's actually go and have a look at that. Movement log, drug treatment, so we click on that, it tells you what I did. And we now go to our tups, and as you can see the 5 there. If I pick on any of them, you can now see it's, if you like, this is the sheep card, or tup card in this case, and it's giving you blow by blow what happened with that animal. In that case it was the initial count and so on. Now we're going back in. You noticed I went in a different way there, but we're going to go and do the next movement. Put that into archive first. In this case we've got 85 animals, which are lambs coming in to hogs, and these are the ones we're keeping, the ones that aren't getting sent to market. So therefore we've had to tag them individually. So we'll put the date on that, the 5th of September. And they're in the back of barn, but they're actually got to put the amount there because the system doesn't know. As you can tell by the red crosses below, the system, they've never been in the system below because lambs aren't on the system because they're untagged. And in this case they're going from lambs to hogs, and we'll notify Scotty ID of this as well, which will become a requirement. It isn't quite yet. I'm just going to have a look at this first so you can see if you hadn't sent them immediately, you can go into the Scotty ID interface and it tells you what's not sent yet, and now we're sending them. Okay, off they go. Processing and finishing off. And that's the 85 newly tagged animals of your hogs joining the flock, the breeding flock, and it gives you the message that it's been sent to Scotty ID. In fact, if we go back and have a look at that and go to newly tagged, you can see now, right, that they're there, and it means that if you have to resend them, they're still there to be resent. And with the successful tag notified to Scotty ID, that's us with the system bang up to date. Now, the management of sheep through the EID readers being processed in this becomes really handy when you're doing counts and you've gathered in your sheep. We've got a count at a particular date. I'll just put that into archive first as per usual, and we'll go and get the count which we've taken and we'll load it up. There's 249. Now obviously we do have more than 249 ewes, so let's see what the count does when we put it through the system. As you can see, it recognises that they're ewes, it recognises where they are, we put in the date, and now it checks your count against what your last details were. So we go to the next check here, dismiss matched, and it tells you that everything on the wand is in the farm. In other words, you haven't got a neighbour's sheep there. But then when we dismiss from the other side, it's now saying that those 4 are on the farm, but they weren't picked up by your wand reader. So we'll process that, we'll save the changes, and we'll look at the movement log, and then we'll look at the overview, and it's marked 4 as missing. So it's gone from where they were before, obviously, which was at Brachla, and it's marked them down and put them as missing just now. And of course, as we know, missing does not mean that they're dead yet. We haven't found any carcasses, so we've put them into, if you like, a farm area called missing. Now let's go back to the movement log and look at the movement log. So as you can see, we've got the 200 and odd count carried out. Nothing changes in the totals because they've just moved from an area, as I say, Brachla, to missing, a different area. Okay, let's go and do the next movement. So we'll go back to farm control, and we can pick which way to get into the reader, go to the reader, and we'll archive our last pickup, which was the count. And now we've bought a couple of tups to replace the 2 that died. So let's go and quickly put them on. And in this case, it's a purchase, which we haven't done before. The red crosses indicating that the 2 that we've got there as a count are not in the system already. So we'll put in the date we bought them, and we're putting them up to Brachla Hill, or Tup Hill, and put all the information on. Transported them ourselves. That's fine. So it's 2 tups because the system doesn't know that they're tups. And we will notify them, even though Dingwall will as well. But if they were private purchase, it would be important to notify them anyway. So this is how we would do it. Processing. That's it, as you can see, the usual. And of course, when we go back to farm control, a message is waiting for us in our message center from Scott EID, and we open that and it tells us it was successful, so we can process that. And now we'll go back in to our sheep manager. There we go, and go and upload. Again, archive first. Go to all files you have to put in. And we'll go to this next count, 252. So this one's a month later from the last count. So this is a new count on the 30th of October. It knows their ewes, it knows we're at Brachla and 30th of October, and we'll process this. And again, when we're checking it, go through the check, it's telling us that it's found these 3. They were missing, but they're still in the farm. We'll go to the next check. This mismatched, and it's confirming that. So we'll save the changes because they're no longer missing. And what it does do now is flags up the one that is still missing for more than one count. As you can see, it's been missing for 2 counts. So perhaps it's dead. We'll just quickly come out and look at the overview. So as you can see, Brachla is back up to 252, however, and missing is down from 4 to 1. So it adequately tracks, without much ado, all your information with your accounts, so you know exactly where you are. And if we just quickly go now, we'll just get rid of that into our archive. So we've always got it, but at least it's not in the way so we don't get muddled up. And we've got 252 tags this time. And the 252 are our yows from Brachla, and they're going off to an off-farm grazing. As you can see, there's different marks there. You could have off-farm grazing, wintering, whatever you want to call it, and then when they come back on, you've got the button to bring them back on. But you can see also at the bottom there's temporary, right, start and end. These are going to shows or borrowing or being lent to you or whatever. But in this particular instance, it's a registered off-farm grazing, so we'll click on that. It knows it's 252 ewes, and they're all at Brachla. It knows this, and we know that because that's how we read them. And we put them on the float, but we did them, and they're going off to, as you can see in the drop-down menu, it's only our official registered with Scotty ID off-farm grazings. They come up. In the English system, when it comes online later next year, obviously it'll be save and notify somebody other than Scotty ID. I'm not even sure what they're going to call themselves. But anyway, it'll all be ready for our English and Welsh users. Now, if we go to here, you can see they're not sent yet, but we're going to notify. That's it processed. As it says, that there's sheep going off to a show, wintering, etc., or other owner sheep coming back. But we know it's our sheep going wintering or off-farm grazing to a different area. It's processing, and it really just about takes the same time to process one or the whole 252. That's them up. So they've all been posted up to Scotty ID, and it's been checked at Scotty ID, and we've got our message immediately back. This is in real time. But we'll go, and first of all, go back to the tags. And as you can see, if we go there to grazings, on farm rather, sorry, and then look at our grazings, we've now got things, these are on our off-farm grazings, which we've just moved, the 252. There's nothing temporary off because it's an official grazing, which is part of our business. Now, again, in every animal, that line has been added into its, if you like, its U card. And the whole movement is at the bottom here, going to off-farm grazing. So just in the last few minutes, we've put on all our sheep for the initial count and then the movements since. And all these official movements are coming from, we can individually track each sheep and notify where necessary. And if we look at the current overview, you'll see, there you go, Hill Park, 252. Animals moved, and none at Brachla of the ewes. And we go to our message centre, we can now just process that temporary off. We always look at things at off-farm grazings as being temporary off from the main holding, even though it is a registered part of your business. It is not in your main holding. So, that was it. Thank you very much for watching.